jail term. We're referring to the Kathrada murderers finally getting slammed. Do the family feel that justice has been done? Let's talk to the brother and uncle of Marhoom Yunus Kathrada, who was 65 years old at the time of his killing, and his son Ahmed Kathrada, who was aged 29 at the time of his killing. They were shot and killed outside of their home. Assalamu alaikum, Rasheed. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for the opportunity, and assalamu alaikum to your listeners.
I'm very sad to be talking to you about this, but how does the family now feel that the perpetrators, the killers, the murderers have been brought to justice and they now have finally been sentenced?
Julie,
Julie.
Julie, I'm sorry.
No problem.
The saying is that the sentence must be befitting the crime.
Mm.
However, in the family's eyes, no sentence would ever be befitting in these circumstances.
It's never going to bring their loved ones back, is it?
It's never going to bring their loved ones back. The pain and agony which my sister-in-law and our family has been subjected to knows no bounds today. My dad, who turned 88 in July, passed away about 2 months ago, and one would constantly see the tears welling up in his eyes, the hurt, the feeling of despair, and the longing for his son and his grandson. My aged mother, 85, cannot come to terms with the death of her loved ones. A major setback to my mother was when her grandson, Muhammad Sada, passed away in 2010 during the Soccer World Cup on his return back to Lenasia. That alone set the pace for her steady decline in her health, and this was the ultimate. The death of Yunus and Maulana Ahmed set her deterioration in motion.
So sorry to hear about this sad loss in the lives of the Kathrada and the extended families. And you're right, no amount of money or sentencing of these murderers would ever take the pain away. It can't and it never will. But at least I'm wondering, in terms of the fact that these murderers are now locked up behind bars, they can't hopefully cause any hurt, can't damage other people's lives. Does that give you as a family some form of relief? That's the one question. And then the other question I have to ask is, is the family comfortable? Wrong choice of word, but do the family feel that the sentences were justified? And then also, just for those listeners who are not familiar with the case, can you, before responding to my questions, can you just give us a brief overview of what happened, how it happened, and who the perpetrators were?
Julie, my brother Yunus and Maulana Ahmed were loved by this community. They had an excellent rapport with the community. Their absence has left a tremendous void in our community. Maulana Ahmed did sterling work. His role as a religious instructor, a bridge builder, a trustworthy friend cannot be understated. His role in the religious fraternity of our town and elsewhere has left us all the poorer by his demise.
Okay, and your town is Swazirenica, am I right?
Yes,
okay, in the northwest. Okay, go ahead.
In the northwest province.
Carry on.
To date, we are constantly reminded of the work Maulana Ahmed did in bridging the gap between the foreign brothers and the locals. The constant work that Maulana Ahmed did in the township of Pipilekheng amongst our indigenous black brothers was something tremendous.
Okay, we have a bit of time constraints here, so can I just ask you to move on? Let's just talk about the actual murders, the day of the actual murders.
Yeah, sure, Julie, we can do that. The day of the actual murder, my sister-in-law, this happened approximately after Isha Namaz. And my sister-in-law, the immediate call she made was to her friend, that is Sitar's mother, the accused
One
number
of the
two's mother.
accused, right?
Yes,
right.
accused mother, because that was her friend and also our neighbor. Now, immediately, the neighborhood watch was on the scene immediately, and the second person or the third person to report on the scene was then Sitar and his father. It was very early noted that by then already, there was some tampering of evidence that was taking place by Sitar. And one wonders and one asks the question that, what, can greed motivate you to such an extent where, you were basically reared in the Kathrada home.
Mm.
This child was reared in our home. My brother Yunus, my sister-in-law, my parents reared this child from a very young age. Bought clothing for this child, fed him.
Rasheed, what was
Yes.
the case with this child? Did he come from a not very wealthy family? Was he uneducated? Did he have an issue with addiction? Why did this Mohammed Sitar make this horrible choice of murdering Yunus and his son Ahmed? What was he to gain out of it? Let's assume that you people didn't realize that he was complicit in these murders. What did he think? Was this an attempt at robbing the family, kill them and then rob them?
I think the initial target was supposed to be at the supermarket in the Indian complex. That was supposed to take place around 5 o'clock when Yunus was going to be closing the supermarket. It turned out that it could not be accomplished at that time, and the plan was then postponed for that very evening.
Oh, so the motive was money, greed and money.
Yes, the motive was clearly greed
Okay.
and money.
Can I ask one question? We do know that he then roped in two locals, must be people he knew, and that was I think Khotso Muketsi and Adam Mohale. Obviously, he promised them a sum of money, etc. When did the family or the authorities realize that Mohammed Sitar was the mastermind in these murders? And also, how is it that he only gets a 15-year and a 10-year sentence running concurrently, whereas Khotso Moketsi is serving 2 life sentences? So my first question is, when did you people realize that he was the mastermind?
It was very early in the investigation, and I would be disingenuous if I did not thank Colonel Ismail Dawood and his team from the Provincial Organized Crime Division of the Northwest, in the manner in which they handled this case. It was very early. I think the incident took place on Thursday evening, and by Sunday we were informed that arrests are going to be taking place. Some arrests did take place on Sunday evening, and the balance of the arrests took place on Monday. At that stage, the accused were 9 in number.
Mm.
The one accused was released for lack of evidence very early in the case, and 5 other accused were then released also for lack of evidence. The 3 accused that were charged were then sentenced accordingly. But we were informed very early that the mastermind in this case was Sitar.
So as early as Sunday, the deaths took place on the Thursday. As early as Sunday, I assume they were arrested. But also after your brother and nephew were murdered, did Sitar and the 2 co-accused, were they able to get their hands on any money or any valuables?
Not at all. They attempted to get into the house, but after they shot Maulana Ahmed, and the screeching pain sound that Maulana Ahmed made, my sister-in-law ran to the back door, to investigate what was going on. My brother was not well that evening, and he ran as well. They attempted to get into the house, but both my sister-in-law and Yunus then pushed them out, and as they ran away, Yunus then ran behind one of the accused, who was actually trying to jump the wall to get away. And when Yunus grabbed his leg, that's what I'm told, the accused then turned around and shot him in the back.
Oh, yeah, Allah. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. How do the family feel about these sentences? And I've read up on the case, but because Mohammed Sattar was the mastermind, I personally believe that his sentence was way too light. 15 years and 10 years to run consecutively, which means in possibly 7.5 years, he might come out. What's your thoughts on that matter?
To me, it's not about the sentence. To the family, it will never be about the sentence. It's about the loss of two innocent lives.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So whatever the sentence is, what, we can never say we found closure. We will never find closure. But I think the judicial system has done what it was supposed to do, and we're thankful for that. That it has reached the culmination, and that the sentences have been pronounced. But to the family, we will forgive, but we will never be able to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rasheed, that's where we have to leave it. Our heartfelt duas to you and the rest of the Kathrada family, and your all the other family related to the marhoom, that is obviously Yunus and Ahmed Kathrada, and we feel for each and every one of you. Allah make it easy. Allah grant sabr. And shukran very much for talking to us. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum salam and jazakallah so much.
9:50 exactly, and we'll be moving on to our final interview in a minute to right after our ad break.